thanks everybody for coming. I'd also like to thank EarthBend for having us out today. She said I'm Mike Jerik, sales engineer with Varonis. I don't know how many people out here have heard of Varonis. I see a bunch of familiar faces. Glad to see you guys out. For anyone that hasn't heard of Varonis, we're going to go through a little bit of a slideshow, but I'm also going to demo the product. So you're actually going to see the product in action, which I think will probably give you a little bit better understanding of what we do. So let's go here. So I want to start out and talk about how Varonis started. So Varonis was started by two NetApp engineers based out of Israel. The names of Yaki Feidelson and Ohad Korkus. These two gentlemen were working in Angola, Africa on a large oil project where they literally had millions of pictures of the seafloor for a platform they were going to build. What happened was literally hundreds of thousands of files were deleted. Nobody knew what happened. They had no way to recover the data. And of course, the people that owned the company were like, hey, you're our storage guys. You know, what's the deal with this data? How come we can't find it? And after about a month and a half, 2 months of a lot of hard work, they were able to recover most of the files, but an idea was sparked. Why don't people know what people are doing with their data? Who has access to their data? What kind of behavior is happening behind the data? So from that, Varonis was started. You see here on the screen, this is kind of a neat little animation. These are all the major breaches that have happened since about 2004 to 2015. We see that basically every different type of company is involved in these breaches. We've got healthcare, retail, government, you name it. And just recently, obviously, we've got the DNC. We've got the movie coming out about Snowden. We've got all these things happening in our world as far as data breaches and security go that really, kind of shed light on how important security is. So really, what is the impact of insider threats? Usually for most companies, the threats are already inside. It's something to do with either someone has malware. In a lot of cases, malware can sit on your network infrastructure for up to 200 days where nobody really knows it's there, and then all of a sudden it pops up and infects your environment. You can have, unstructured data getting leaked by disgruntled employees, different things like that. And in a lot of cases, the traditional security approaches didn't work. Your typical perimeter security gets breached in some way. Somebody clicks on a phishing email or a link or something else that brings malware in your environment. And really, once it's in, you kind of fall victim to that. I know we've got a lot of products here that we looked at today that help with a lot of those things. But really, Varonis is a little bit different because what we do is we actually look at the behavior of your actual corporate data. So we're looking at what's happening inside your servers, whether it's your Windows file servers, NetApp NAS, EMC NAS, your Exchange servers, SharePoint, your Active Directory, seeing every single file touch, every activity that's happening at your directory services, logging all that activity, and then actually giving you a single pane of glass to go and look at those different platforms and see what's happening with that data. So what's the impact of insider threats? Obviously everyone knows, everyone here today is involved in security in some way, shape, or form, that's why you're here. It's a huge impact, not only financially, but really it's the way it affects the reputation of companies, the relationship with clients and customers, and really, how it can have an overall effect on your company where people, in some cases, get fired. If you look at like the Target breach, a lot of the main executives for their IT departments ended up losing their jobs over it. So it's a pretty serious issue, and something that we hope with Varonis and tow, you're going to really help alleviate those issues. So it's easy to get inside. Now, obviously today you guys have been inundated with a lot of technical talk and a lot of great information on how people do things. I'm going to just talk about a couple of things. Obviously Panama Papers, 11.5 million confidential documents leaked and exposed to 214,000 offshore companies. And that was just a simple WordPress plugin that got breached. And of course we know that employees make mistakes, right? So generally, I mean, who's the one person that's going to cause a problem in your company? It's going to be the people that you have inside working day to day. And those are the people you have to keep an eye on. Leaving a USB stick at Starbucks, sending a sensitive email to the wrong person, and of course, everyone's email favorite risk, phishing. Obviously, phishing works really well. And for a lot of people, this 11% of recipients that click on attachments, instantly you've got malware or a threat or some other way a hacker's going to get into your environment from those phishing attacks. That can be a huge risk. So this is our good friend, disgruntled Dan, a typical rogue employee. He's been with the company for 20 years. His pension has been cut off. He's not happy. He's going to move to a competitor. So he's got access to all the files, pretty much on the file server because of how long he's been with the company, the different departments he's worked in. So really, how do you stop him? He already has access. He's supposed to have access, right? So he goes ahead and takes a thumb drive or an external disk, takes a few, 100 gigs of data, confidential data, important papers, IP, and leaves and brings it to a competitor. What are you going to do about it? How are you going to stop it? What Varonis is going to do is we're going to see that user behavior. We're going to use our user behavior analytics and the built-in rule sets that we have around those user behavior analytics to send you an alert, to trigger a PowerShell script to stop that user. We're going to be able to send it to your SIM tool. We have a lot of different ways that Varonis is going to look at that data, make sure you're alerted, and take you from a reactive state as an IT department and move you into a proactive state. So how do we stop insiders? We use the inside-out approach because we're looking at your internal data. We start with detection. We're going to enable auditing right out of the box. The first day Varonis is in your environment, it starts auditing every single file touch, every Active Directory move, every email that goes in and out of your environment, every SharePoint site touch. Okay? We're going to prevent things from happening by locking down your sensitive data. We're going to show you with bidirectional visibility, and I'll show you that in our demo in a little bit. The bidirectional visibility actually goes through where you can double-click on any folder, any email box, whatever you want to look at, SharePoint site, show you exactly who has access to it, and then from there you can go ahead and say, well, okay, we've got the Everyone group has access to this folder. Why don't we see where the Everyone group has access across all of our folders? Just double-click on the Everyone group. We're going to go through and show you instantly by turning folders from yellow to green, exactly where those people have access, not only on your file share, but in your SharePoint site, Exchange server, and Active Directory as well. And then, of course, we want to sustain. We don't just go in and help you do a cleanup. We're not just a tool that's sitting there. We have a full operational plan and over 18 different modules built on a metadata framework where literally every aspect or module of our solution can be plugged in at any time simply by just adding a serial number. And once we do that, you can get into a sustainable model. We help you define data owners. We help you actually move the onus of assigning permissions to different groups and folders to the actual data owners in your department. So let's say the manager of HR calls the help desk every day. We need to add so-and-so to this folder and this group, and the help desk is spending most of their time doing provisioning. Well, why not let those different leaders do the provisioning themselves? We give you the capability of doing that. And of course, one nice thing is we're so confident in how our software works. We offer a free 30-day risk assessment, and that's something you can come, talk to us at our table about after lunch, obviously, or later in the meeting. And what that is, literally you build a single VM, 2 to 4 CPUs, 16 to 24 gigs of RAM, 150 gigs of disk space. We're going to throw in a Varonis server in your environment. We'll add whatever platforms you want to look at that we cover. We're going to go through and have 4 meetings over that 30 days. And we're going to go ahead and show you where we're finding gaps, put together a free risk assessment document, and come on site, deliver that document, and actually do a presentation to you and your leadership, and see if Varonis is of value for you. In most cases, people really see it as an eye-opener. And because it's so easy to use, by the time the 30 days is over, most of the people that are involved really become pretty good at using the product. So any questions, guys? All right, I'm going to go ahead and move in to look at some demo of the software because I think that's really going to tell the story. Just give me 1 second here.
We've got a question from the back here real quick.
Okay.
Can it also monitor Google Docs activity?
Currently, we are not monitoring Google Docs. We do monitor Office 365, so we offer OneDrive, SharePoint Online, Exchange Online, and Azure. But we are not doing Google Docs at this time. There are a lot of cloud solutions that we're currently working on in R&D, but I can't say we do until we actually do. So, but they're definitely in the wheelhouse.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions, guys? All right, let's see if we can get this up so everyone can see it. I'm going to have to actually look at this on this screen. That I want. Sorry, just a second. No, that's okay. Well, I'll just run it this way. So today, if you wanted to know who had access to your finance folder, you go ahead and right-click, go to Properties. You go to your Security tab and see a couple of groups in here. You know, that's pretty cool. That's exactly what it looks like in Windows. With Varonis, it's a little different. You just double-click on that folder. And what's going to happen is all those different users or groups are going to pop up here. We can actually open those groups and see every single user inside. And not only that, we can also see nested groups inside these groups as well. And you know, that's pretty cool. It's a nice way to see what's going on right away with that information. But I think what's a little more interesting is the fact that we can just go ahead and click on Alan Carey, let's say, at the top of the list. And instantly the screen is going to change. Everything is going to turn green that Alan Carey has access to. And we're going to tell you the file system permissions, full modify, rewrite, execute the list right off the bat, where it's inherited from. And again, we're going to see that same view across all platforms. You're going to be able to see everything in that single pane class, no matter what platform you're looking at in our environment. So another thing that we're going to do is show you guys recommendations. Get over there. All right. We'll go ahead and double click on that folder again. And what we're going to see are recommendations for people that should be removed from this particular group because our user behavior analytics behind the scenes have seen that these users are acting differently than other users in the group or have never accessed that data from that particular group. So we're going to help you get to a least privileged model. Really what we find is that, in general, most threats, as far as insider threats or other kind of hacking threats, what people are after is your unstructured data. And that's what we're focused on, is looking at that unstructured data, your Word files, email, PowerPoint, etc. and giving you a lot of visibility into that. Because today's theme is security, along with, obviously, this is stuff that can be used by a security team, infrastructure team, a lot of different aspects of your IT environment. I wanted to show everybody today our data alerts based on user behavior analytics. And this is a bunch of alerts that we had created built around what's called the kill chain. And actually, if you go through this alert category, it has the entire kill chain here. So intrusion into your environment, reconnaissance, privilege escalation, exploitation, and eventually exfiltration of the data. And I think what I want to focus on is a lot of talk about malware today. We also do a lot of help around detecting malware. And I think what's unique about Varonis compared to some of the other things we've looked at today is that since we're looking at the user behavior and the behavior around your actual data, if other solutions fail, Varonis is going to be that safety net sitting in there that's going to see what's happening. And the way our rules work is that we use that user behavior and behavior of the data to see what's happening. Okay, So we just double click on any rule. And what we're going to see is that within our alert method, we have the ability to send you an email, send it to the event log, send it to your SIM tool. We can also execute a PowerShell script. And this is something that our professional service team is going to help you guys with. So if you decide to move ahead with Varonis, we're going to be able to implement these rules. They'll help you write these PowerShell scripts, and they will shut down that threat. So when all else fails, you have Varonis in your environment, you're still protected against all different types of malware. Moving forward, we look at our audit trail. This is literally every single file touch happening on this particular share on the file server. We have the same view on any of the platforms that we look at. If you wanted to create alerts around any certain type of event, you literally can right-click, create data alert. It's going to pop up a little box here, eventually. And then we're going to go ahead and create that custom data alert about whoever we want, where it's happening, when, and what alert method we want. Again, the same things that are built into our built-in alerts you can create by yourself by creating user-enabled alerts as well. Another interesting thing that we're going to be able to show you is our statistical view. This is going to show you every single file touch on any certain particular share. If you want to get into the details of any of those particular items, you can literally just open it up and go in deeper. Let's click on the finance folder here. We can right click, we can jump to the log and see all the events on that particular day that you want to see. I think one of the things that's really interesting that we do as well, we've got this really great user access pie. That shows the exact percentage of usage by individual users groups of that particular data. And why we use this, or why this is important, is that this really ties back into the data ownership conversation. If you really want to start involving people that really own the data, so the HR director is probably the person that owns that HR data, finance director same for the finance data. If they want to get involved, you want to get them more involved, we can actually assign data owners directly from this view. And this is not anything that's going to happen on your Windows environment or anything else. This is a Varonis flag. And what that does is it puts this little blue icon here, and it allows those users to automatically get different alerts and reports based on what's happening with their data. Any questions about anything so far? Okay. And moving on, I wanted to look at our data classification as well. I know a lot of people here use maybe some other types of tools to classify their data. What's unique about how Varonis' data classification works is, A, we have a lot of these predefined rules right out of the box, built around a lot of different compliances. We also give you the ability to do user-defined rules as well. So really, anything that you deem important IP in your environment, you can go ahead and create a custom rule around that and find that data. And what's going to happen is, as soon as you create a name for that data classification and you enable it, we run a single baseline scan, and what's going to happen is you're going to see this total hit count come up, and this is going to show the number of hits of sensitive data within each individual share. And I think what makes us unique compared to other data classification tools is that you're going to see the number of hits, you're going to be able to see exactly what the classification results are, so which rules were triggered and how many in each share. And we're going to show you exactly who has access to those files by just double clicking on that folder. So instantly you're going to know where your sensitive data is, who has access to it, and with the audit trail, obviously, what's happening with it. We also have another module called the Data Transport Engine, where you can set up automatic rules that will go through and find where sensitive or stale data is and automatically migrate it to an archive or litigation hold. So really, Varonis is truly a kind of all-encompassing data governance solution, and it really makes you far more effective in dealing with insider threats and other behavioral activities.